Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and smash the like button. The hook is an Ahrex FW561 size 18. Cut a 5/64 inch strip of lead foil, wrap it counterclockwise, leaving the rear third of the hook open. Double the foil back at the front and end up at the third point behind the eye. Pluck or trim away the excess foil. Nymphs of the Baetis family, which include various species of mayflies such as blue-winged olives, are aquatic and play a role in the ecosystem. They are commonly found in freshwater habitats such as rivers, streams, and lakes, and are an important food source to many fish, particularly trout and grayling. Secure the thread in place at the rear of the hook. I'm using 20 denier Nano silk from Semperfli. Begin to cover the shank with the thread creating a taper similar to a carrot. And incidentally, this pattern is an Oliver Edwards inspired pattern, an Oliver Edwards Baetis. Pluck 3 tails and even the tips. These particular tails are from the Hareline barred Mayfly tails. The length of the tail should be roughly half the length of the shank. Secure the butt ends of the tails up to the third waypoint behind the eye and start to even out the taper in the body. Cut the excess. Run the thread back and forth, attempting to close all the crevices from back to front. To split the tails, push them forward with your thumbnail. Make several turns of thread between the tail closest to you and the center tail. Then make several turns of thread between the far tail and the center tail. Then make a turn under all the tails. This is a light olive marker, which I use to add a little color to the tails. Advance your thread to the rear point of the hook. Secure in place a section of light olive hollow tubing from Hareline. Baetis nymphs, like other mayflies, are often considered bioindicators because they are sensitive to pollution. The presence of these nymphs can indicate that the water quality is good and well oxygenated. Flatten the foil on the abdomen and thorax with a flat nose plier. This creates a nice flat taper. To create the wing pads, separate 3 to 4 barbs from a turkey tail feather. Secure the clump in place. Repeat this step for the second wing pad. Baetis nymphs are important to fly anglers, as their emergence can trigger feeding frenzies. The hatching period typically occurs in the spring or the fall, depending on the species and water temps. Advance the thread to the eye and pull both turkey clumps forward and hold them in place with a few turns of thread. Mark the top half of the abdomen with a brown marker to add a little color. Spiral wrap your hollow tubing to the thorax at the third waypoint behind the eye. Set the turkey free from the thread. Make a turn of the hollow tubing ahead of where the turkey pads are. Advance the thread rearward to just in front of the hollow tubing. Make one more turn of the hollow tubing and tie it off. Leave the excess. Pull the hollow tubing back in between the two turkey clumps. Tie it down directly on top of the hook. Now create a dubbing noodle using a golden olive dubbing. Add a few turns just ahead of the hollow tubing and turkey clumps. Take a feather from between the rump and the neck of a partridge. Pull away most of the fluff and the barbs from either side of the stem. Isolate the tip of the feather, ultimately ending up with 3 to 4 barbs per side, plus the tip. Secure it in place and cut away the tip fibers. Apply a bead of super glue right on top of the stem of the feather. Create another dubbing noodle using the golden olive dubbing that we used previously. Move that noodle to the eye, covering the entire thoracic region. Apply another bead of head cement, creating, as Ollie Edwards called it, a head cement sandwich. This adds durability and helps to keep the legs and barbs in place. Pull the stem of the feather forward and secure it in place behind the eye. Cut away the excess. Take the first clump of turkey and cross it to the other side of the eye. Do the same with the second turkey clump. This creates the wing pads. Next, pull the hollow tubing forward to behind the turkey clumps and secure in place, which creates the top of the thorax. Pull the hollow tubing ahead of the turkey clumps and secure in place behind the eye. Move the thread to behind the turkey clumps and pull the hollow tubing back and secure in place, creating the head of our Baetis nymph. Cut away the length of the clumps to make them more manageable when we whip finish. Add super glue or head cement to the thread and whip finish. Cinch down on the thread to really dig it in place. Cut away the bobbin. Stretch the hollow tubing and cut away the excess. Now to create the eyes, cut away each clump of turkey right along the side. This pattern is a variation of one of my favorite tyers, Oliver Edwards. Thank you for your inspiration, Ollie. Shorten the length of the legs if you need to. You can even bend them with a heated needle for added realism.